Sometimes, before a major turning point in life, the silence becomes deafening. It seems that God has stopped writing your story, that everything is on pause. But for the chosen ones, what seems like silence is, in fact, God stitching together the most important chapter. The meeting of souls that He set apart from the very beginning. You are not lost. You are being aligned. The love that will walk by your side was dreamed of by God long before you imagined you needed it. While you were facing painful goodbyes, He was adjusting the scene, preparing the right heart to meet you. It seems crazy to say that someone has already been set apart for you, doesn't it? Especially after so much suffering, after so many closed doors. But what you don't see is that preparation is God's signature on the stories that truly matter. Nothing is improvised when the author is Him. The chosen ones do not live shallow loves. They are called to live loves with purpose. Relationships that not only warm the heart, but also strengthen the life mission. And that is why the journey has been longer, more demanding, and filled with invisible lessons. You have been shaped, not for any love, but for a love that carries eternal purpose. Not for emotional crumbs, but for a union where two hearts walk toward the same calling, under the same light, guided by the same promise. While you believed that God was silent, He was moving pieces that your eyes could not see. All that seemed to take too long was God removing the excess, strengthening your roots, and shaping your spirit to sustain what is to come. Today, you receive this message because the time of waiting with doubt is coming to an end. God does not make promises to the chosen ones in vain. If you feel your heart burning right now, it is because the meeting prepared for your life is already on its way, and it is greater than you dream. Stay with me until the end of this video and discover the signs that show that your destiny in love has already begun to take shape. And don't forget, follow our channel. Every day we are here to strengthen your faith and remind you that what God started, He is faithful to complete. Have you ever looked at your story and wondered, why have I lived through so much pain and so many goodbyes? For those who are chosen, every detail matters. No tear, no smile, no separation happened without a reason. God used every moment, even the most difficult ones, to shape something within you that could not be born any other way. The chosen ones do not have ordinary lives. From an early age, they go through experiences that others cannot understand. Sudden losses, broken bonds, delayed dreams. All of this, far from being a coincidence, was part of a script written by God's hands. A script that has always aimed to strengthen you for the greater promise. People who came into your life and then left also had a purpose. Some taught you about love, others about boundaries, still others about forgiveness. Even those who brought pain planted important seeds in your journey. Each presence left marks that prepared you for what is coming. Imagine a tree. Before it grows strong, it must face storms. Its branches may be shaken, some leaves may fall, but its roots go deep. This is how it has been for you. What seemed like loss was, in fact, an invitation to create deeper roots in your faith and in your identity. At times it seemed like God was far away. It seemed like He had gone silent while you faced rejection and loneliness. But in reality, He was carrying you in His arms. Every goodbye that hurt so much was, many times, a silent protection, a deliverance to distance you from what was not part of your destiny. You were trained in pain to recognize what is true. Today you see more clearly who deserves to walk by your side. The discernment that was born from your scars is what will help you protect the love that God is bringing into your life. Many moments you wish you could erase were, in fact, fundamental. They brought maturity, patience, and compassion. God never wastes a tear from his chosen ones. Every time you thought you were alone, he was near, silently preparing you for something much greater. Sometimes, we look to the past and see only confusion. But when the right time comes, everything starts to make sense. You will realize that the winding paths were invisible shortcuts to bring you closer to the promise. God's hand has always been there, even in the curves you did not understand. Your encounters and separations have shaped your view of love. Today you do not settle for just anything. You know what is real. You can recognize what comes from God. And this is the fruit of the journey you have lived, even when you did not understand what was being built. Those who are set apart to live something great need to be prepared in a special way. God allowed you to face deserts, to learn to trust in him and not in the circumstances. The pains that seemed to break you actually strengthened you. Each tear watered the seed of your future. The love that God has prepared for you is so special that it could not be received by an immature heart. Each experience has matured you so that today you are ready to live a relationship that will not be fragile, but firm, blessed, and aligned with the eternal purpose. There is no pain wasted in the lives of the chosen ones. Every mark you carry is proof that you endured, that you were trained for something that few would understand. And now, as the time of the promise approaches, your heart is strong enough to recognize what is true. Look back with gratitude. Even the most difficult moments were part of a plan of love. You have been shaped, protected, and guided up to this point. God has never lost control of your story. And if you have come this far, it is because you are closer than ever to living what was promised. Nothing was by chance. You were chosen, set apart, and prepared. And now, the best is about to bloom before your eyes. There is a love reserved just for you. It is not a work of chance, nor the result of your insistence. God set someone apart to walk by your side from the very beginning. This love was written in the pages of heaven, even before you made your first choices. Many times in the rush and anxiety, we try to force connections. We insist on stories that seem good, but were not sent by God. But true love, the love that is set apart for the chosen ones, does not need to be forced. It blooms naturally, in the right time and the right soil. While you were crying over losses and goodbyes, God was already preparing a heart that would understand yours. Someone who would not only love your presence, but who would also understand your mission. A person who would not try to change who you are, but would encourage you to be even more of who God called you to be. Perhaps today you still do not see this love by your side. You may still be crossing deserts where everything seems silent. But as you walk, God is already moving pieces that you cannot see. He is aligning encounters, preparing hearts, and adjusting stories so that everything happens at the perfect moment. The story that God writes is never small. It is made to honor the faith of those who persevere. Therefore, do not be afraid of the temporary voids. They are not signs of forgetfulness, but of preparation. God does not delay promises. He matures them so that when they arrive, they are a source of life and peace. Trust. Your love is being shaped. Perhaps right now, it is also facing battles and lessons, becoming the person who will walk by your side with maturity and faithfulness. The same God who shapes you is shaping the other side of your story. The love set apart for you will not bring confusion. It will not ask you to nullify yourself. It will not make you doubt your worth. True love confirms the identity that God has already built in you. It will be support, not a burden. It will be a push, not a prison. While many get lost seeking fleeting loves, God calls you to trust that what He has is eternal. There will be no need to compete for attention, nor to beg for emotional crumbs. When the time is right, His love will come with the lightness of peace and the strength of certainty. Heaven has already written your encounter. And God, who never fails in any of His promises, is ensuring that everything happens at the right time. Remain steadfast with an open and confident heart, because what He has reserved for you is much greater than any dream you have ever dared to dream. When we look at what we have lived, it is natural to think that many experiences were just pain and loss. But for the chosen ones, nothing is wasted. Each chapter of your story, even the one you would like to forget, is part of a silent preparation for something greater that is yet to come. God uses all the seasons of our lives to shape who we are. The defeats, the new beginnings, the separations. Everything was a tool in His hands. You did not go through battles to become weaker. You were trained to become someone capable of receiving and sustaining a love that many only dream of living. What is merely suffering for others has been refinement for you. Each heartbreak, every friendship that broke, each unexpected loss formed layers of wisdom and sensitivity in your heart. These invisible marks are the armor that God built in you to protect what He is going to deliver. If you had not gone through what you have, perhaps today you would not have the discernment to recognize what is true. If life had been easy all the time, perhaps your faith would not have such deep roots. God does not waste pain. He transforms every tear into preparation for the promise. The love that is coming is not a fragile love. It is strong because you have been strengthened. It is mature because you have matured. God builds foundations before raising palaces. Your story, full of ups and downs, was the ground where God dug deep to lay the foundations of what He is going to build. You no longer need to carry shame about your past. What you lived was training. Each difficulty shaped your patience. Each new beginning honed your resilience. Each abandonment taught you to trust in God more than in people. All of this was essential for what is coming. Imagine a soldier being prepared for a special mission. He goes through tough training, situations that require strength, intelligence, and faith. He is tested to the limit. You have been that spiritual soldier, and now you're about to receive the mission for which you were so carefully trained. Many look at their scars and see pain. God looks at them and sees medals of honor. You survived storms that would have sunk others. And the fact that you still believe in love is the greatest proof that your story was written by the hands of a Father who never gave up on you. The person who will walk by your side will not come to save you, but to complement you, because you are already whole in God. The relationship that is on its way will be an extension of everything that has been built within you, not an attempt to fill old gaps. Every difficult chapter of your story was necessary to make you who you are today. And what is about to happen in your love life will be so grand, so filled with the presence of God, that all the scars will make sense. Continue walking with confidence. Your story has never been random. Every step has brought you here. And now, the preparation gives way to fulfillment. The promise is closer than you imagine. Before God unites two hearts, He aligns two purposes. For the chosen ones, the relationship is not just an emotional gift, but a mission. The love that God prepares goes beyond companionship. It propels the life and calling that each one carries within. Many believe they need to find someone to feel complete. But for those who are chosen, completeness already comes from God. The right relationship does not come to complete you. It comes to walk with you side by side, strengthening what God has already begun to build in your life. When we understand that the purpose is greater than romance, our choices change. We begin to seek someone who not only loves us, but also respects and propels our mission. Someone who understands that true love cooperates so that both can grow towards heaven. God cares first about your identity. He shapes your heart, affirms your faith, steadies your steps, and only then allows someone to join you. Because relationships that do not respect the purpose become prisons. And God wants you to soar, not to get lost. The love set apart for the chosen ones is not only sweet, it is strategic. It comes at the right time for two stories to cross, and together become even stronger to fulfill God's will. It is not a joining of needs. It is a union of spiritual strengths. Perhaps you have already experienced relationships in which you had to give up your dreams or your faith to please someone. Now God wants something different. He wants you to walk with someone who prays with you, who believes in your calling, who encourages you on difficult days. The purpose comes first because it is the foundation that sustains the relationship when human emotions fail. When love is based only on feeling, it wears out in difficulties. But when it is based on purpose, it flourishes even in the deserts. Therefore, do not despair in filling emotional voids. Your calling is too great to be put at risk. God takes care of the timing, the meeting, and the alignment. What He unites, no one separates, because He Himself makes His presence known in the midst of this union. Allow God to continue shaping your heart. Prepare yourself not only to love, but to build something eternal. The love that God has set aside for you will be one of the most beautiful instruments to manifest the purpose He has planted in your soul. The relationship that is on its way will confirm everything that God has already spoken to your heart. And together, you will be stronger than you would be apart, for the glory of the Father. Many carry the sincere desire to live a great love, but remain trapped in the past. Old wounds, betrayals, and abandonments form invisible walls that prevent the new from entering. God, as a loving Father, knows that delivering something precious to a wounded heart would be too risky. There are promises that have not yet arrived, not because God has forgotten, but because He is caring for your healing. What He has prepared is pure, strong, and holy. And to receive it, you must let go of resentments, bitterness, and everything that contaminates the soul. Preparing the heart means leaving the past where it belongs. It is deciding not to live looking in the rearview mirror of old pains. God wants you to have clear eyes to recognize the new when it arrives, without unfair comparisons, without doubts that sabotage what is true. Many times, it is necessary to forgive in order to move forward. To forgive those who hurt you, but also to forgive yourself for the wrong choices. Forgiveness opens the doors of the heart and allows God to build something new on healed ground. Without forgiveness, the future becomes a hostage to what has already passed. Leaving the past behind does not mean ignoring the lessons learned. It means honoring what was lived, but moving forward without unnecessary weights. God wants you to carry only what strengthens your faith and your hope, not the marks that prevent you from blooming. Preparation also involves the willingness to change. Sometimes we need to abandon patterns of behavior that distanced us from love in the past. God works on our character so that we can build mature relationships based on respect, patience, and mutual understanding. The love that God has set apart for you deserves a whole, light heart, ready to grow. Therefore, this time of waiting is not a punishment. It is a gift. It is the opportunity to align even more with the purpose that God has written for your life. When the heart is ready, love does not need to be forced. It arrives naturally, recognizing the space that has been prepared with such care. The new does not compete with old wounds. The new establishes itself in ground where healing has already bloomed. Trust the process. Every prayer, every tear, every renunciation is preparing you to live something much greater than you can imagine. God does not fail. He fulfills what he promises. And he wants you to be standing on the day of the meeting with a light heart, ready to receive and live the love that has been set apart for you. When the love that God has prepared for you arrives, it will not come accompanied by confusion, fear, or anxiety. For the chosen ones, the strongest sign that something comes from God is peace. A peace that calms the heart, without needing many explanations or human guarantees. Human love is often laden with demands and doubts, but the love that comes from heaven brings security. There is no feeling of needing to prove yourself all the time. There is no constant fear of losing. What God unites is sustained by the peace that he himself plants within us. It is common to think that love needs to be turbulent to be true, but that is a lie that the world sells. God does not build relationships on emotional instability. He builds them on the firmness of peace. A healthy love does not accelerate your anxiety. It calms it. When love comes from God, even difficulties are faced differently. There are no games, no manipulations, no silence used as a weapon. There is respect, there is dialogue, and there is the certainty that both are there to grow together, not to destroy each other. This peace manifests itself in the small details. You realize that you do not need to change who you are to be accepted. You feel free to dream, to express your feelings, to be vulnerable. There is no fear of being rejected because the foundation is solid. It is God who is sustaining the bond. If the relationship brings more anguish than tranquility, it may be time to rethink. God does not call us to relationships that pull us away from him or that destroy our identity. True love brings us closer to purpose, strengthens faith, and renews hope with each step. Peace is the seal that God places on what comes from him. Even if there are still natural doubts, even if challenges exist, the deep heart feels. It is like a quiet voice that says, "Here is safe. Here you can build without fear." You do not need to chase after what God has already written for you. Peace will be the indicator. It will be the light that guides your steps. And when true love appears, you will not feel the need to question all the time. You will just know, and your heart will respond with gratitude and joy. Wait for the love that brings peace. Do not settle for what merely seems like love, but generates anxiety and insecurity. You were chosen to live something much greater. Something that will be a source of rest, strength, and purpose. Not of suffering or constant doubt. Be patient. God has not only prepared someone to walk by your side, he has prepared a love that heals, that uplifts, that flourishes with the light of peace that can only come from heaven. And when it arrives, you will understand that it was worth the wait. Sometimes when we are most tired, it is precisely because we are very close to what God has promised. For the chosen ones, the final stretch of the process is always the quietest, the hardest, but it is also the prelude to fulfillment. He is preparing not only the person who will be by your side, but also the environments, projects, and dreams that you will live together. With every prayer made in silence, with every tear shed on the pillow, you were getting closer to your destiny. No surrender was in vain. No no that you received was forgotten. Everything served to refine your spirit and increase your capacity to live a love that glorifies his name. Therefore, keep your heart full of hope. The hour is coming. The promise that seemed distant is already beginning to take shape before you. Soon you will understand why you had to wait, why you needed to be shaped, and why you were so carefully prepared. When it arrives, It will be like a peace that fits effortlessly. You will feel peace, see confirmation in the small gestures, and recognize in the other the same hunger for God that burns within you. It will be natural. It will be light. It will be the fulfillment of the word that God planted in your heart. Trust, even if your eyes do not see yet. God never lies to his chosen ones. What he has promised, he will fulfill. Do not give up now. Stay strong. What is coming is greater, more beautiful, and more transformative than you ever dared to dream. If this message spoke to your heart, stay with us. Follow our channel to receive daily words that strengthen your faith and remind you, you are chosen, and your time to live what God promised is much closer than you can imagine. Blast off.